The day Earth joined the galactic community was not marked by grandiose ceremonies or spectacular displays of advanced technology. Instead, it began with a misunderstanding and a display of humanity's most unexpected strength, its ability to turn potential disaster into opportunity. Dr. Ilara Chen, lead xenolinguist at the United Earth Space Agency, stood before the holographic projection of what appeared to be an alien distress signal. The pulsating light patterns had been detected by Earth's Deep Space Array just hours earlier, and the entire facility was buzzing with excitement and apprehension. "It's definitely not natural," Ilara muttered, her eyes darting across the complex sequences. "But it doesn't match any known mathematical or linguistic patterns we've theorized about alien communication." As she spoke, alarms blared throughout the facility. Outside, the sky lit up with the arrival of an enormous vessel, its hull shimmering with an iridescent material unknown to human science. Panic ensued as military jets scrambled and world leaders convened in emergency sessions. Amidst the chaos, Ilara made a decision that would alter the course of human history. Instead of retreating to a secure bunker, she walked out onto the open field before the hovering alien ship, armed with nothing but a universal translator prototype and an outlandish theory. As a hatch opened and alien figures emerged, Ilara activated her device. But instead of attempting to decode their language, she began to transmit a series of sounds, a mixture of whale songs, dolphin clicks, and bird calls interspersed with simple harmonic tones. The aliens paused, their elongated heads tilting in what seemed to be curiosity. Then, to everyone's astonishment, they responded with similar sounds. Ilara's theory had been correct. The distress signal wasn't a language but a complex ecosystem soundscape, a galactic standard for peaceful contact that humanity, in its isolation, had never learned. Over the next few hours, as the world watched with bated breath, Ilara established the foundations of communication. The aliens, calling themselves the Zaraquin, explained that their ship had suffered a critical failure in its quantum drive, forcing them to seek help from the nearest inhabited world, Earth. What could have been a moment of terror transformed into an impromptu cultural exchange. As engineers from both species worked together to repair the Zaraquin ship, political leaders and scientists engaged in a crash course on galactic civilization. The Zaraquin, it turned out, were members of the Galactic Concordat, a loose coalition of spacefaring races that maintained order and facilitated trade across the stars. Earth's ability to detect their distress signal and Ilara's innovative approach to communication had inadvertently satisfied two of the three criteria for an invitation to join the Concordat. As news spread across the globe, humanity faced a choice that would define its future. The Zaraquin offered Earth provisional membership in the Concordat, a chance to step onto the galactic stage. But with this opportunity came a warning. The galaxy was a complex and often dangerous place, filled with ancient rivalries and delicate power balances. In the days that followed, debates raged across every nation. Some saw the invitation as humanity's ticket to the stars, a chance to advance beyond their wildest dreams. Others feared subjugation, or the loss of human identity in the vast cosmic community. In the end, it was again Ilara who tipped the scales. In a passionate address to the United Nations, she argued, "We've spent our entire history looking up at the stars, wondering if we're alone. Now we know we're not, and we have a chance to be part of something greater. Yes, there are risks, but isn't that true of every great endeavor? We've faced extinction-level threats on our own world and survived. Now we have the opportunity to face the challenges of the cosmos, not in isolation, but as part of a greater community." Her words resonated across the globe, tapping into humanity's deep-seated desire for exploration and connection. 3 days later, in a historic unanimous vote, the nations of Earth agreed to accept the Concordat's invitation. As the Zaraquin ship prepared to depart, now accompanied by a hastily assembled team of Earth's brightest minds, Ilara stood once again in the field where it had all begun. Looking up at the stars, she smiled, knowing that humanity's greatest adventure was just beginning. What no one yet realized was that this unassuming species from a backwater planet was about to change the galaxy in ways no one could have predicted. 6 months after Earth's entry into the Galactic Concordat, the newly formed United Earth Diplomatic Corps faced its first major challenge, the Centennial Galactic Summit. Held on the neutral world of Nexus Prime, the summit brought together representatives from over 1,000 spacefaring civilizations to discuss trade agreements, border disputes, and technological exchanges. Earth's delegation, led by the charismatic ambassador Zara Okoro, arrived on Nexus Prime with a mixture of awe and determination. The planet's surface was covered in sprawling cities of crystalline spires and gravity-defying architecture, a testament to the advanced nature of galactic civilization. As they entered the Grand Assembly, a colossal structure that seemed to bend the very fabric of space around it, Zara whispered to her aide, "Remember, we're not here to be spectators. We're here to make Earth's voice heard." The summit began with the traditional roll call of civilizations. When Earth's turn came, a murmur rippled through the assembly. Many delegates viewed the newcomers with skepticism, some with outright disdain. The Draconians, a reptilian species known for their mercantile prowess, openly scoffed at the primitive apes who dared to join galactic society. Undeterred, Zara took to the central podium when Earth's speaking slot arrived. "Esteemed delegates," she began, her voice calm and measured, "we come before you not to ask for handouts or special treatment, but to offer a fresh perspective." What followed was a masterclass in diplomacy that would be studied for generations to come. Zara deftly wove together Earth's history, its struggles, and its triumphs into a narrative that resonated with many of the assembled species. She spoke of humanity's resilience in the face of adversity, its capacity for innovation, and its deep-seated desire for peaceful coexistence. But it was her closing statement that truly captured the Assembly's attention. "We may be new to your galactic community, but we bring with us something ancient and powerful, the art of compromise. On Earth, we have thousands of cultures, each with its own beliefs and ways of life. We've learned, often through bitter experience, that progress comes not from dominance, but from finding common ground." The Assembly fell silent, many delegates leaning forward in their seats. Zara continued, "We propose the formation of an intergalactic mediation committee, with Earth serving as a neutral party to help resolve disputes between long-standing rivals. We may lack your advanced technology, but we have millennia of experience in bridging seemingly insurmountable divides." The proposal sent shockwaves through the summit. Some delegates dismissed it outright, but others saw the potential. The Algorians, a species of silicon-based lifeforms known for their logical approach to governance, were the first to speak in favor of the idea. As debates raged over the following days, Earth's delegation showcased another uniquely human trait: adaptability. They quickly formed alliances with moderate factions, adjusted their proposal based on feedback, and even managed to turn some of their harshest critics into supporters. The summit reached its climax when the Draconians, in a surprising turn of events, threw their considerable influence behind Earth's proposal. Their spokesperson explained, "We've observed these humans. They possess a cunning and adaptability that we respect. Perhaps there is merit in their methods." When the final votes were tallied, Earth's proposal passed by a narrow margin. The Intergalactic Mediation Committee was established, with Earth granted a prominent role despite its newcomer status. As the summit concluded, Zara found herself surrounded by delegates eager to establish bilateral relations with Earth. The Algorians praised humanity's fascinatingly illogical yet effective approach to problem-solving, while the Draconians hinted at lucrative trade possibilities. Amidst the congratulatory atmosphere, Zara caught the eye of a Zarquin observer. The alien's expression was unreadable, but there was a glimmer of what might have been concern in its multifaceted eyes. It was a subtle reminder that with great opportunity came great responsibility, and perhaps unforeseen dangers. As Earth's delegation prepared to return home, none of them realized that their diplomatic triumph had set in motion events that would reshape the galaxy. Humanity had taken its first steps onto the cosmic stage, and the performance was just beginning. The newly established Intergalactic Mediation Committee faced its first major test sooner than anyone anticipated. Just 3 months after the Galactic Summit, a border dispute between the militaristic Krelthor Empire and the peaceful Lumina Collective erupted into open conflict. The Krelthor, a species of silicon-based lifeforms encased in living metal, had long coveted the resource-rich worlds of the Lumina system. The Lumina, beings of pure energy, had always relied on their advanced defensive technologies to maintain peace. But the Krelthor had developed a weapon capable of disrupting the Lumina's energy matrices, tipping the balance of power. As reports of Krelthor incursions flooded the committee's communication channels, Earth's team, led by the veteran diplomat Marcus Chen, found themselves thrust into the heart of a potential galactic war. "We need to act fast," Marcus addressed his team aboard the committee's flagship, the Concordia. "If the Krelthor gain a foothold in Lumina space, it could destabilize the entire sector." The situation was dire. Traditional diplomatic channels had failed, and the Algorians' logical arguments fell on deaf ears. The Draconians, seeing potential profit in the conflict, were reluctant to intervene. It was Sophia Patel, a cultural anthropologist on Marcus's team, who proposed an unconventional approach. "The Krelthor value strength above all else," she explained. "What if we challenge them on their own terms, but not with weapons?" Her idea was radical: a contest of endurance between the Krelthor and a human champion. The prize: a binding arbitration agreement. Marcus was skeptical but intrigued. "It's risky, but it just might work. The question is, who would be willing to face a Krelthor in a contest of endurance?" The answer came from an unexpected source. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the team's xenobiologist, stepped forward. "I'll do it," she said quietly. "I've studied Krelthor physiology. Their living metal exoskeletons are incredibly strong, but they require immense energy to maintain. In a prolonged contest, I might have a chance." The plan was set in motion. Marcus used Earth's growing diplomatic clout to arrange a meeting with the Krelthor's Supreme Commander, Zaxlor. The proposal was presented: a contest of endurance, human versus Krelthor. If the human won, the Krelthor would withdraw and submit to arbitration. If the Krelthor won, Earth would support their claim to a disputed system on the edge of Lumina space. To everyone's surprise, Zaxlor agreed, amused by the audacity of the soft-skinned humans. The contest took place on a neutral asteroid broadcast across the galaxy. Dr. Tanaka, clad in a basic environment suit, faced off against a towering Krelthor warrior. The challenge: to remain standing on a platform under increasingly harsh conditions. Hours passed. The temperature fluctuated wildly. Gravity increased and decreased, and corrosive gases filled the air. The Krelthor warrior stood impassive, its metallic body seemingly impervious to the hardships. But Dr. Tanaka endured. She used meditation techniques to control her breathing, conserving oxygen. She adapted her posture to the changing gravity, minimizing strain. As the hours turned into days, the galaxy watched in awe. On the 5th day, the Krelthor warrior faltered. Its metallic exoskeleton, having expended enormous energy to withstand the conditions, began to lose cohesion. In a moment that would be replayed across the galaxy for years to come, the mighty Krelthor fell to its knees, while Dr. Tanaka remained standing, battered but unbowed. The impact was immediate. The Krelthor, bound by their own code of honor, withdrew from Lumina space. The war was averted not through superior firepower or complex diplomacy, but through human endurance and adaptability. As news of the victory spread, Earth's reputation skyrocketed. The Lumina hailed humans as saviors. The Algorians began studying human unpredictability as a viable diplomatic strategy, and even the Draconians grudgingly admitted that humans were a species to be reckoned with. But with this newfound respect came new dangers. Other species began to view Earth not just as a curiosity, but as a potential threat to the established order. In averting one crisis, Humanity had unknowingly set the stage for even greater challenges to come. In the wake of the Krelthor incident, Earth found itself in an unprecedented position of influence within the galactic concordat. However, this newfound status brought with it a host of challenges, chief among them, how to leverage this influence for the benefit of humanity without appearing as a threat to the established galactic order. The answer came from an unlikely source. Ariajong, a brilliant economist who had been studying alien trade patterns since Earth's induction into the concordat. Aria had noticed something that others had overlooked: inefficiencies in the galactic economy that stemmed from millennia-old trade agreements and entrenched monopolies. "We have an opportunity here," Aria explained to the United Earth Economic Council. "The galactic economy is stagnant, built on outdated models. We can introduce new ideas that could benefit everyone, including Earth." Her proposal was bold. Introduce a new economic model based on flexible trade alliances, open markets, and rapid innovation cycles. It was a model that Earth had been refining for centuries, but one that was foreign to many galactic civilizations used to stable, predictable economic structures. The Council was hesitant. Won't this be seen as an attempt to upend the entire galactic economic system? One member asked. Aria smiled. That's exactly what it is, but we'll present it as an opportunity for growth, not a threat. Over the next few months, Earth's diplomats and economists fanned out across the galaxy, armed with data, projections, and a uniquely human blend of persuasion and adaptability. They targeted younger, more dynamic civilizations first, offering partnerships and pilot programs. The Novari, a species of cybernetic beings known for their love of novelty, were the first to embrace Earth's economic model. Within cycles, their productivity soared, catching the attention of other races. The Draconians, ever watchful for new profit opportunities, were next to cautiously adopt elements of the Earth model. Their vast trade networks began to hum with renewed energy as new markets opened up and old monopolies were challenged. Not everyone was pleased with these developments. The Algorians, whose entire society was built on careful economic planning, viewed Earth's chaotic system with deep suspicion. The ancient Quiril Empire, which had maintained its power through controlling key trade routes, saw its influence beginning to wane. Tensions came to a head at an emergency session of the Galactic Economic Forum. Representatives from dozens of civilizations argued passionately for and against Earth's economic revolution. Ariajong, now serving as Earth's chief economic envoy, took the floor. "Esteemed colleagues," she began, her voice calm but forceful, "change can be frightening, but it can also be invigorating. What we offer is not the destruction of the old, but the birth of something new. A galactic economy that works for all, not just a privileged few." She projected a holographic model showing the potential growth across various sectors and species. Imagine a galaxy where trade flows freely, where innovation is rewarded, where even the smallest civilization has the chance to prosper. This is not a human economy we're proposing. It's a galactic renaissance. Her words, backed by hard data and the success stories of early adopters, began to sway the forum. Even some of the skeptics found themselves intrigued by the possibilities. As the session concluded, a majority of civilizations voted to gradually implement Earth's economic models, with safeguards and monitoring in place. It was a landmark decision that would reshape the galaxy's economic landscape. In the cycles that followed, the galaxy experienced an economic boom unlike anything in recent memory. New trade routes opened up, cross-species innovations flourished, and wealth began to flow more equitably across civilizations. Earth, as the architect of this revolution, saw its influence grow exponentially. Human economic advisors were in high demand across the galaxy, and Earth-based companies expanded into alien markets with unprecedented success. But as humanity celebrated its economic triumph, storm clouds were gathering on the horizon. The rapid changes had destabilized some of the old power structures, creating resentment and fear. And in the shadows, those who had lost power and wealth in the new economy were beginning to plot their revenge. The stage was set for a confrontation that would test humanity's resolve and ingenuity like never before. As Earth basked in the glow of its economic success, a silent killer was spreading through the galaxy. The first reports came from the outer rim. Entire species falling ill with a mysterious ailment that defied conventional treatment. Within cycles, the outbreak had reached epidemic proportions, affecting dozens of civilizations across multiple sectors. The Galactic Health Consortium, GHD, was overwhelmed. Despite their advanced medical knowledge, they struggled to even identify the pathogen, let alone cure it. As panic spread, quarantines were imposed, trade routes shut down, and the booming galactic economy ground to a halt. Earth, still viewed with a mixture of admiration and suspicion by many alien races, found itself at the center of the crisis. Some accused humans of inadvertently spreading the disease through their expanded trade networks. Others looked to Earth for solutions, remembering humanity's knack for overcoming seemingly insurmountable challenges. Dr. Amelia Okafor, Earth's leading xenopidemiologist, was appointed to head the human contingent in the GHC's crisis response team. As she reviewed the data in her lab aboard the medical station Asclepius, a disturbing pattern emerged. "This isn't a natural outbreak," she announced to her team. "The pathogen is artificial, designed to target specific genetic markers across multiple species. This is biological warfare." The revelation sent shockwaves through the galactic community. Accusations flew as civilizations pointed fingers at old rivals and enemies. The fragile peace that Earth had helped to build was on the verge of shattering. But Dr. Okafor wasn't finished. "There's something else," she continued. "The virus is incredibly complex, beyond the capabilities of any single species we know of. This was a collaborative effort." As the implications sank in, Earth's diplomatic corps sprang into action. Ambassador Zara Okoro, now a seasoned galactic politician, called for an emergency session of the Concordat Security Council. "We stand at the brink of chaos," she addressed the assembled delegates. "But we also stand at the threshold of an unprecedented opportunity for cooperation. Earth proposes a galaxy-wide collaborative effort to combat this threat. We will share all our medical knowledge, our resources, and our unique human perspective on problem solving." The proposal was met with skepticism and hope in equal measure. The Algorians, their logical minds seeing the benefits of cooperation, were quick to agree. The Draconians, their business empires crumbling under quarantine measures, reluctantly joined. Even the Krulthor, impressed by human resilience, offered their considerable technological resources. What followed was the largest scientific endeavor in galactic history. Research stations were established across multiple worlds, with teams comprised of the brightest minds from hundreds of species. Dr. Okafor led the charge, coordinating the massive effort. She introduced human brainstorming techniques, encouraging wild ideas and cross-disciplinary approaches that were foreign to many alien scientists. The work was grueling, with countless setbacks and dead ends. Months passed. The death toll mounted. Entire civilizations teetered on the brink of collapse. But slowly, incrementally, progress was made. The breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A young Lumina researcher, inspired by human medical history, suggested combining an ancient Kuril healing technique with cutting-edge Algorian nanoscience. The result was a treatment that could adapt to the virus's mutations, effectively neutralizing it across all affected species. As the cure was synthesized and distributed, the galaxy breathed a collective sigh of relief. The crisis had been averted, but its impact would be felt for generations to come. In its aftermath, humanity's stock rose even higher. Earth's willingness to share knowledge, its ability to foster cooperation among disparate species, and its innovative problem-solving had saved trillions of lives. But questions remained. Who was behind the bioweapon? And why? As celebrations erupted across the galaxy, a select group of human and alien intelligence operatives began to follow a trail that would lead them to a truth more terrifying than they could have imagined. The xenobiological threat had been neutralized, but an even greater danger lurked just beyond the galaxy's edge, waiting for its moment to strike. The celebration following the defeat of the xenobiological threat was short-lived. As the galaxy struggled to rebuild, a new horror emerged from the depths of intergalactic space. They called themselves the Void Collective, a civilization of energy beings from another galaxy, driven by an insatiable hunger for new forms of energy to sustain their ever-expanding consciousness. The first attack came without warning. An entire star system on the galaxy's outer rim simply vanished, its energy completely absorbed by the invaders. As reports flooded in of more attacks, the galactic Concordat found itself facing an enemy unlike any it had encountered before. Earth, now a major player in galactic affairs, was thrust into the center of the conflict. The Void Collective's energy-based nature made conventional weapons useless, and even the most advanced alien technologies seemed primitive in comparison to the invaders' capabilities. In a desperate bid for survival, the Concordat turned to Earth's Unified Defense Command, hoping that human ingenuity might once again provide a solution where alien technology had failed. Admiral Kira Chen, the newly appointed head of Earth's extraterrestrial defense force, faced the greatest challenge of her career. "We're not just fighting for Earth anymore," she addressed her staff. "The entire galaxy is counting on us." As void ships penetrated deeper into the galaxy, consuming entire civilizations, Earth coordinated a multi-species defense effort. The Krell Thor provided their indestructible battle platforms, the Algorians contributed their predictive algorithms, and the Lumina offered their expertise in energy manipulation. But it was a theory proposed by Dr. Ilara Chen, the linguist who had first contacted the Zarquin years ago, that would prove crucial. "The Void Collective communicates through energy patterns," she explained. "If we can decrypt their language, we might be able to predict their movements, maybe even communicate with them." Working tirelessly, Dr. Chen and her team of human and alien linguists made a startling discovery. The Void Collective wasn't a unified entity, but a loose alliance of competing factions, each with its own agenda. Armed with this knowledge, Admiral Chen devised a daring plan. Using a combination of Lumina energy projection technology and human-designed psychological warfare tactics, they would attempt to turn the Void factions against each other. The plan was put into action during a major Void assault on a heavily populated sector. As the Void ships approached, the Allied fleet broadcasted carefully crafted energy signals, mimicking the communication patterns of rival Void factions. At first, nothing seemed to happen. The Void ships continued their inexorable advance, their energy-draining weapons powering up. But then, imperceptibly at first, the Void formation began to falter. Ship turned against ship as the carefully sown seeds of discord took root. The battle that followed was like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. Void ships clashed in spectacular displays of energy, their infighting providing the opening the Allied fleet needed. Using weapons hastily designed to exploit the weaknesses observed in the Void's energy patterns, they struck at the heart of the invading force. For days, the battle raged across the sector. Planets were scared, stars dimmed, but slowly, inevitably, the tide began to turn. The Void Collective, consumed by internal strife and battered by the united forces of the galaxy, began to retreat. As the last Void ships fled back towards the intergalactic void, a cheer went up across the Allied fleet. Against all odds, they had prevailed. In the aftermath of the Void incursion, Earth's status in the galaxy reached new heights. Human strategies had turned the tide. Human diplomacy had united disparate species against a common threat, and human courage had inspired the galaxy to stand firm in the face of annihilation. But even as the galaxy celebrated its victory, Admiral Chen and a select few others knew the truth. This was only the beginning. The Void Collective had been driven back, not defeated. And in the vastness of the universe, other threats lurked, waiting for their moment to strike. As cleanup and reconstruction efforts began, Earth started preparing for the next inevitable crisis. The galaxy had changed irrevocably, and humanity's role as its protector and unifier was just beginning to take shape. A decade had passed since the Void incursion, and the galaxy had undergone a profound transformation. Earth, once a newcomer on the galactic stage, now stood at the center of a new interstellar alliance. The Galactic Concordat had evolved into the United Galactic Federation, with Earth playing a pivotal role in its leadership. Ambassador Zara Okoro, now serving as the first human president of the Federation Council, stood before the assembled representatives of over 2,000 species. The Great Hall of Unity on the newly constructed capital station hummed with anticipation. Fellow sentients, Zara began, her voice carrying the weight of the galaxy's recent history. We gather here not as conquerors or subjects, but as equals, united not by fear or necessity, but by choice and mutual respect. As she spoke, holographic displays showcased the Federation's achievements, new technologies born from cross-species collaboration, thriving trade routes connecting once isolated civilizations, and joint scientific endeavors pushing the boundaries of knowledge. But it wasn't just material progress that defined this new era. The Federation had ushered in an unprecedented period of cultural exchange. Human art and philosophy spread across the stars, while Earth's universities and cultural centers became filled with alien students and scholars. Yet, challenges remained. Not all species were content with the new order. The Quirrell Empire, once a dominant force, now found itself marginalized. Rumors of a growing purity movement, seeking to expel human influence from the galaxy, were growing. Zara addressed these concerns head-on. We acknowledge that change can be difficult. Earth's rapid rise has disrupted millennia-old power structures. But we do not seek to replace the old order with human dominance. Instead, we offer a vision of a galaxy where all species can thrive, where diversity is our strength. As she spoke, security teams led by Admiral Kira Chen were quietly monitoring potential threats. The Admiral's tactical genius had evolved into a comprehensive defense strategy for the entire Federation. Human military doctrines, blended with alien technologies, had created a formidable peacekeeping force. Meanwhile, in research stations across the galaxy, Dr. Amelia Okafor led teams of xenobiologists in preparing for future health crises. The lessons learned from the xenobiological threat had spawned a new field of predictive epidemiology, aiming to stop pandemics before they could start. In the economic sphere, Area Zhang's revolutionary models had matured into a stable yet dynamic galactic economy. The fears of human economic domination had given way to admiration for a system that allowed unprecedented growth and opportunity for all member species. As Zara concluded her address, she touched on the question that had driven humanity since its first steps into space. We are not alone in the universe. But more than that, we are not separate. We are all threads in the grand tapestry of cosmic life. Earth's journey from a solitary world to a member of this grand federation is proof that differences can be bridges, not barriers. The assembly erupted in applause, a cacophony of sounds from thousands of different species united in a single purpose. As the session ended, Zara met with her inner circle. Despite the public optimism, they were acutely aware of the challenges ahead. The galaxy was vast, and beyond its borders, unknown threats lurked. The Void Collective's retreat had left many unanswered questions, and there were whispers of ancient powers stirring in the galactic core. But as they looked out at the bustling capital station, where humans worked alongside countless alien species, they felt a sense of cautious hope. Humanity had proven itself not just as survivors or conquerors, but as unifiers and innovators. The diplomatic predator had evolved. No longer merely fighting for survival, humanity now stood as guardians of a new galactic order. The greatest adventure in human history was not ending, it was just beginning. As stars twinkled in the viewport, promising new worlds and new challenges, Earth's leaders steeled themselves for the next chapter in their cosmic journey. The galaxy was watching, waiting to see what these remarkable humans would do next.